While many get-rich-quick schemes ultimately end in failure, it is important to note that certain factors such as knowledge, special talents, or fortuitous circumstances can indeed lead to amassing a substantial fortune within a short time frame. To illustrate this point, I present to you 10 examples of the swiftest paths through which individuals have achieved great wealth. Number 10. Thrifting. Imagine making millions off something you purchased for $4 on a whim. This happened to a lucky Philadelphia financial analyst in 1989 after purchasing an old painting depicting a typical American country scene for $4. He began inspecting a tier near the foundation of the frame. The frame quickly fell apart, and the man discovered one of the 500 official copies of the original printing of the Declaration of Independence. The man initially sold it for $2.42 million in 1991, but in 2000, it was sold again for $8.14 million. But don't get discouraged. Only 24 of the 500 original printed copies of the Declaration of Independence have been found. So put your best Nicolas Cage face on and start hunting for the Declaration of Independence. Number 9. Inheritance. Okay, so bull riding obviously requires some form of skill, but inheriting money doesn't. While anyone can inherit a large sum of money at any time, unfortunately, it comes with the passing of a loved one, though there are times when people have received money without knowing the deceased. In 2007, a Portuguese aristocrat named Luiz Carlos Darra left his fortune to 70 strangers 13 years before Luiz passed away. He randomly chose 70 people in a Lisbon phone directory to be his beneficiaries. His will included a 12-room luxury apartment in Lisbon, a house in North Portugal, a car, and approximately $32,000. Although his beneficiaries pocketed money essentially out of luck, it's certainly not the most anyone has ever inherited. Françoise Bettencourt Myers inherited $42.3 billion after her mother passed away. François' mother, Lalaine Bettencourt, owned L'Oréal since Alaine's passing. François has also inherited the L'Oréal empire and is the richest woman in the world, elsewhere the youngest billionaire in the world. Hugh Gross VOR inherited £9 billion, which is about $16 billion in August 2016 when his 64-year-old father passed away. He's now the 68th wealthiest person in the world. Number 8. Bull riding. This sport is probably the most dangerous one out there, but if you're strong, well-balanced, and fearless, it could make you a fortune in no time. In Madison Square Garden in 2017, the Professional Bull Riders Organization offered over $100,000 to whoever could rank up enough points and ride a bull for the longest time. 19-year-old Jess Lockwood felt up to the challenge. Lockwood is from southeastern Montana, and he has rodeoed since he could walk. In other words, he's practically a modern-day cowboy. Although Lockwood won Rookie of the Year in 2016, this January night proved to be one for the books. Obviously, all this training up to that point took a lot of time, but when it came down to it, after riding his bull for a total of 32 seconds, split between 4 8-second rides, Lockwood won $117,000. Now take a second and imagine what your life would be like if you could last 32 seconds on a bull and win that much money. Number 7. Shorting the U.S. housing market. In 2007, investor John Paulson shorted the U.S. housing market. What this basically meant is that he bet that U.S. house prices would fall. Paulson invested it in what was known as credit default swaps and bet against mortgage-backed securities because he estimated a housing crash was about to happen within weeks. Paulson's hedge fund firm Paulson & Co. made approximately $30 billion, doubling its fund size, and Paulson earned more than $4 billion of that for himself through management fees. Paulson quickly became world famous for this investment. A similar story led another contrarian investor, Michael Burry, to score big during the crisis himself, earning around $100 million from his bet. His story was even chronicled The Big Short, which was eventually made into a movie. Number 6. Catching a baseball. After hearing this story, you're most likely going to want to become an avid baseball fan on September 27, 1998. Phil Ozeki attended the Cardinals game at the Busch Stadium with his coworkers. Suddenly, Cardinals player Mark McGwire hit a record-breaking 17th home run of the season. The ball flung into the crowd, bouncing off the hands of two coworkers and eventually landing in Zeke's hands. At first, Ozeki was willing to hand over the ball. All he wanted was to meet McGwire, who was his baseball idol. Cardinals officials attempted to negotiate with Zuki by offering a bat ball and jersey signed by McGwire, but Zeki didn't take the offer. Instead, Zeki kept the ball and eventually sold it for over $3 million, 3.5 months later, even though it took Zeki more than 3 months to auction the ball. He essentially acquired his wealth within seconds. Number 5. Living above oil. In 2007, oilmen began drilling on Oscar Stoller's North Dakota property. At first, Stoller was reluctant of the drilling. He believed drilling was pointless because there was no way there would be anything substantial under his land. Boy, was Stoller wrong, to Stoller's delight. Oilmen discovered that his property was sitting on a ton of oil, while exact numbers haven't been released. Estimators guess Stoller acquired at least a few $1,000,000 within the time span of a year. Although it took Stoller around a year to become rich, he didn't have to do anything to acquire that wealth, so I guess it pays off to invest in land. Number 4. Fastest $1 billion in 1 month. Hedge fund managers George Soros, Paul T. Jones, and Bruce Kovner took a gamble on their guess that the Bank of England would not be able to sustain its peg to euro currencies in 1992. Soros took the leadership role in the group, betting that many European currencies, such as the British pound, were priced too highly. In comparison to the German Deutsche Mark, Soros and his management fund hedged a short position of over $10 billion to cripple the peg, betting that the pound would dramatically fall in value. Within 1 month, the Bank of England was forced to withdraw the pound sterling from the European exchange rate mechanism on what's now known as Black Wednesday. Soros' firm made $7 billion from the bet. Since it's a hedge fund, Soros and his partners each walked away with around 20% of the $7 billion. This translates to around $1.4 billion each. Number 3. Bitcoin. Good old cryptocurrency nowadays. Even though only a small amount of people truly understand what Bitcoin is, it seems like everyone is trying to get their hands in the Bitcoin pot of gold. Well, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss are two people who rightly invested in Bitcoin early on, commonly known as the Winklevoss twins. This duo began investing in Bitcoins in 2013 when it was trading at just $120 per Bitcoin, which means they have around 100,000 Bitcoins. The current price as of writing for each Bitcoin is just over $10,000, which means the Winklevoss twins made over $1 billion in under 4 years. Yet if you consider the biggest spike in the shortest amount of time, then you'll see that on multiple occasions in the space of a few hours, their net worth has gone up by tens of millions of dollars from 12:29 to 2:29 p.m. on December 10th of this year. The price of Bitcoin jumped from $13,887 to $15,791. This means the Winklevoss twins made $194 million in only 2 hours, aside from the Winklevoss twins hitting the Bitcoin gold mine. You might recognize them from suing Mark Zuckerberg. In 2004, the Winklevoss twins claimed Zuckerberg stole their social media platform idea, Connect You, and used it to create Facebook. The Winklevoss eventually settled for $65 million, which proved to be the fund they used for their Bitcoin investments. Not only did the Winklevoss walk away with a hefty settlement, but their story inspired the 2010 movie The Social Network. Although a lot of people dislike the twins for their lawsuit shenanigans, I have to praise them for their foresight. It's almost like they know which future ideas will be generating all the cash, and they put their money right where their mouth is. Number 2. Largest single lottery win. Some people rarely play the lottery, but if you have a sudden urge to purchase a lotto ticket, you should probably listen to your intuition. This is what happened to Mavis Wansik, a 53-year-old hospital worker. On an August afternoon, Wansik decided to stop by a store and purchase a ticket in her small Massachusetts town. She used birthdays of loved ones to choose her numbers to Wan's sixth delight, her number 6716, 2326, and the Powerball number 4 were the lucky winners. She won $758 million. Although if you've watched our video on lottery secrets, you'll realize that after taxes, she was left with just about half of that. On August 23, 2017, Wansik claimed her prize instead of receiving the total jackpot amount in 30 payments over the span of 29 years. Wansik chose to receive one payment of $336 million, which made this the largest single lottery win in history. While some lottery winners have been known to save most of their money for a rainy day, Wansik immediately quit her job and planned a vacation, but who could blame the woman? Practically. Anyone who wins that kind of money overnight would do the same, especially now that she's worth more than countries like Micronesia. Before I reveal the most outrageous example in this list, I'd like to remind you to subscribe. We upload amazing fact-filled videos every day, so don't miss out on learning some amazing new information. Also hit that bell icon for notifications on more amazing fact-filled videos. Number 1. Bank error. Imagine waking up with millions of dollars in your bank account. Well, this became a reality for Matthew Pierce one November 2015 morning when Pierce logged into his Commonwealth Bank app. He found over $123 million Australian dollars. This roughly translates to $95,106,171.98. Although Pierce could have been set for life, he decided to call the bank initially. The person he talked to laughed and said it was great. After hearing radio silence for 2 weeks, Commonwealth Bank fixed the issue and said what occurred is a glitch that happens sometimes. Unfortunately, this meant that Pierce didn't get to keep the millions transferred into his account. What would you do in this situation? Would you report the issue to your bank like Pierce did? Or would you stay silent and spend it after this list? It's evident that anyone can get rich quick. If you don't have a special talent or a little bit of extra cash to invest, sometimes all you need is a tremendous amount of luck. Let me know in the comments section down below what you would do if you became rich as quickly as the people on this list. Thanks for watching.